Isn't it crazy that like everyone forgot we were in a recession for like a few hours and then markets pull back and they're like, oh, wait, things are still kind of bad. Well, yeah, a tweet doesn't erase the overall economic issues that we are having, right? So what's going on, guys? It's Ricky, and just wanted to share with you guys a quick little update. So overall markets today, NASDAQ down 4.25%, pretty much giving back half of what it gained yesterday. So still progress, just not as much as probably many anticipated. Yesterday seemed to be an overreaction and things today got worse than actually got better, right? So 10K on the day is what I ended up hitting today when it came down to my Tesla position. Thank you for all those that tuned on into my live trading session. For those that do not know, I trade live every morning. If you ever want to tune on in, second link in the description down below. We have a discount there for you, so you can feel free to check it out. But when it comes down to the NASDAQ market, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So what is going on? So today, the U.S. announced an additional 145% tariff after its latest rate hike. So even after just hours after Trump announced, oh, okay, we're going to be pausing this trade war, pausing tariffs, of course, except for China. China didn't respond with enough time or in enough time and is not respecting the U.S. according to Trump, that now there's a 145% tariff slapped on them, right? And to my understanding, it just based off of what we are seeing, if this is true, it says that China and the European Union agreed to start negotiation to abolish EU tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. All the US is focused on is trying to slap China with tariffs to try to gain some respect. China, although it is being devastated, if you look at the Chinese dollar, the yen, it is dropping. Things are not looking good for China, but it doesn't look like this dude cares. I mean, he's focusing on figuring out trade deals with other countries to try to renegotiate to see if, again, maybe it puts them in a better position. And I feel like the U.S. might be pissing a lot of people off. And again, maybe it's just my unpopular opinion. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. I don't get why Trump feels the need to announce everything on Twitter or on Truth Social. Like, why? You're the president of the United States. Like, let the results speak for themselves. If you want to start this trade war, if you want to negotiate, if you want to win and settle great trade deals, let it be announced when it's done. It's just, I know it just can't be me, right? And I'm okay with this, right? Because with the market volatility as day traders, we kind of like it to some degree. It just bothers me that yesterday everyone thought that our problems that we had were no longer present. Like, that's kind of discouraging or concerning, because you guys really think that with one tweet, all of our problems are solved? Like, you even had Bill Ackman, who's a billionaire hedge fund. He's like, oh, what an impeccable timing and ability to negotiate right down to the wire. Congrats, Trump. A few hours before that, he was complaining about everything it is that was going on. And now, hours later, markets are down about half of what they gained yesterday. How does everyone else feel, right? It's just like, why this continuous back and forth? If you want to drop the market, I mean, drop it, but don't apologize for it. You one time say that you don't care about the market, and then a second time you tweet things about, hey, maybe you should buy now. It's going to be a great time to buy. And then you hear about like, oh, look, he told us to buy, and then he sent us this message right before the deal happened, and markets skyrocketed the most that they ever have. And trust me, like, it just seems like we're living in a like a Black Mirror episode. Like, just do your job. Just do your job, stick to it, and that's it. Let your results speak for themselves. Why does he have to be such a character? Let me explain to you why I think he was very concerned yesterday. I really don't think, I mean, if you really think about it, and please feel free to do your own due diligence and do your own research. But most Americans are not heavily invested into the stock market. I think the average American, 60% of average Americans are invested in the stock market, but 80% of wealthy Americans own or the top 8% of Americans own 80% of publicly traded companies. If that statistic is correct, that means that a majority of the value and net worth or market cap value that's household owned is owned by about 8% of Americans, obviously the rich. The stock market dropping really affects more of the rich people, right? If you have any friends that are not invested into the market, the only people that are complaining about the stock market and markets dropping are people like you and I, because we're watching it every day. They're affecting our lives, not other people's, right? So it's really billionaires and millionaires and people that maybe have 401ks. Yeah, they are impacted to some degree, but most Americans truly are not, right? If you haven't paid attention to the 10-year Treasury, I think this is more of a flashing concern. The reason why is that this is what your mortgages are based off of. And if we see the 10-year Treasury spike to north or at 5%, mortgage rates will be north of 8%. That's going to make it very expensive for people like you and I to borrow money. That's our problem, right? You and I, Americans. And that will devastate more Americans, in my opinion, than the markets dropping, the stock market dropping, right? Because owning a house is more of a general, like, common American issue, right? Or I guess theme. The other thing to take into consideration is that if these rates continue to increase, it's going to be more expensive for the Federal Reserve, or not for the Federal Reserve, but the U.S. to refinance its debt. A lot of you guys know that the U.S. is, $36 trillion in debt, and it borrows a ton of money. And they, to my understanding, are coming down to the wire where they need to refinance, and they want to do it at a lower rate. So there's this speculation that the Chinese government is pouring a bunch of money, selling a bunch of treasuries to cause U.S. treasuries to rise. And if that is the case, and supposedly they are trying to come together, everyone except for the U.S., and just dump a bunch of U.S. treasuries, causing the 10-year treasuries to go up, this means that interest rates would skyrocket. And this would make it more expensive, not just for you and I, Americans, that's our concern, but also for the U.S. government to refinance. And the Federal Reserve, again, has not started cutting interest rates. So that is, in my opinion, what I think is Donald Trump's main concern. The U.S. needs to refinance its debt, and they want to do it at a lower rate. But with the 10-year Treasury going up, that is only going to make it more expensive for the U.S. to refinance its debt. According to my understanding, and again, it's just a rough formula that or number that I saw online, for every 1% that rates increase by will cost the U.S. an additional $300 billion a year. That's $3 trillion in a span of 10 years. Remember, we're $36 trillion in debt already. Let's just get to work, right? Let's do your job. You don't need to be on Twitter. Let your results speak for themselves. I know some people might like this volatility, but I think that, even if things are being done that are kind of like, this trade war behind the scenes, I don't think that markets would be as volatile if the president wasn't as outspoken as he is. And I think that is more of my issue with what is going on. Obviously, no one cares what it is that I think. My issue is my issue with myself, right? But it's just, and I'm obviously fine with it. I like trading these markets to some degree. My thing is just, I know a lot of people are getting incredibly frustrated with him. And it's just, when you really think about it, like, why would he be doing this whole trade war thing? I really do think it's for the American people. I don't, billionaires are not the ones that are benefiting from it with markets dropping. No one is benefiting from this. Not himself, no one really, right? It's like, the only logical explanation behind all of this is he really is trying to negotiate trade deals. In the fashion in which he's doing it, obviously now looking at it, it's much easier to say, but it's just creating so much volatility, so much turmoil. Just simmer down, kind of like disconnect, get the job done, and let the results speak for themselves, right? If you want to focus on increasing tariffs, let the tariffs be increased, but you can't circle back and then take back what you said if I don't care about the market, and then you go back and say something to cause the markets to skyrocket or encourage people to buy the market now before you announce something. I think that just kind of looks shady, right? But again, regardless of what it is that's going on, good news or bad news, a lot of you guys know that, I voted for Trump, and I don't care that I just voted for him. I don't have to agree with everything it is that he says. And I'm learning a lot along the process of, what I do like that he does, what I don't agree with. And that's what all we can ever really do as people, right? Is no one ever will be perfect, not myself, not him, not any of us, but it's just kind of trying to analyze, form our opinions, and what we hope he does moving forward. So again, I would love to keep you guys up to date. I'm not trying to make it personal. I'm not trying to attack you. I want us all to do well to some degree. If you know what I mean, just sounds kind of lame saying it, but let's stay patient. Let's stay calculated. There is a lot of volatility in the market. There's no reason to overcomplicate that. And let's not pretend like markets are just going to recover overnight. That's my big message for this video. It's don't be silly, right? Don't be naive. Markets skyrocketed yesterday such a large amount that if you didn't take profits, then I don't want to say I don't feel bad for you. It's just like you kind of soak in it, right? So let's learn from our mistakes and see what we can do better next time. I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. Second link in the description down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.